A significant tornado outbreak is likely today, and multiple EF3-plus violent tornadoes are possible. The SPC moderate risk covers 24,151 square miles with 1.2 million people directly in the red zone. Hail up to 4 inches softball size is on the table from Kansas into Nebraska today. 3 threats, 1 set up violent tornadoes, softball hail, hurricane force wind, all in the same window. When I saw 6,300 joules of CAPE in the SIG-2 tornado hatching this morning, I stopped cold. Stay with me through the storm mode section. That single detail determines whether EF3-plus happens today. And stay through Oklahoma. Frank near Enid watches the dry line this afternoon and cold front tonight. Drop your city and state below. Tonight I come back with your specific breakdown. Mark my words. Let me start with why today is different from anything we have seen in this outbreak so far. Yesterday we had 25 confirmed tornado reports, and today's setup has a higher ceiling than yesterday. Yesterday's tornado north of Grand Island, Nebraska was undoubtedly EF3-plus violent and intense. There is a real risk that something like that happens again today, same corridor, higher instability. CAPE values over northern Kansas and southeastern Nebraska are maxing out around 6,300 joules per kilogram. That is one of the highest CAPE readings I have seen this season. Atmosphere is critically overloaded. Think about Carol in Wichita. She is sitting in the SIG-2 bullseye, most dangerous spot today. Carol needs her shelter plan confirmed before noon, not at 3 p.m., when supercells are already initiating. Now, the SPC moderate risk breakdown, because the numbers on this map are striking, plain and simple. Moderate risk covers Wichita, Topeka, Salina, Manhattan, and Hutchinson, Kansas ground zero today. Enhanced risk stretches out to 79,645 square miles, covering 5.62 million people, including Kansas City. Omaha, Lincoln, Des Moines, and Overland Park are all inside today's enhanced risk corridor. Heads up. Slight risk covers 42.7 million people from Chicago to Detroit to Indianapolis to Milwaukee to Oklahoma City. The marginal risk reaches all the way to Dallas, Fort Worth, Cleveland, and even Buffalo, New York, y'all. That is 76 million people in slight risk or higher, one of the largest footprints this year. Comment your city and state below tonight. I give you a specific breakdown for your exact area. Now, the tornado threat, this is where today gets separated from a normal severe weather day, folks. SPC has issued CIG-2, the highest tornado intensity flag, over 29,693 square miles centered on Wichita. CIG-2 means EF2 or stronger tornadoes are considered likely in that zone today, not just possible. Likely. The 15% tornado probability covers Wichita and Hutchinson, Kansas. That is a real bullseye today. CIG-1 extends the significant tornado risk to 84,253 square miles, including Kansas City, Omaha, Lincoln. The 5% tornado probability covers Oklahoma City, Springfield, Missouri, Cedar Rapids, and Des Moines. Even Chicago, Milwaukee, and Indianapolis are under a 2% tornado probability today. Stay aware. Think about Dale, a retired farmer outside Salina, Kansas, right in the 15% core today. Dale needs equipment covered and shelter confirmed before noon this afternoon is the real window. Here's the storm mode detail I mentioned at the start. This determines the outcome today. If storms stay discrete this afternoon, multiple EF3-plus tornadoes become very likely across Kansas. If storms cluster early, the tornado threat drops, but the massive damaging wind threat takes over instead. HR model shows discrete supercells near Lincoln, southeast of Lincoln, near Salina, and near Superior. The most concerning supercells are the ones setting up in central Kansas and southeastern Nebraska today. Either way, there is no low-impact outcome today. Discrete means violent tornadoes. Clustered means widespread wind. By 3 to 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time, supercell initiation expected in central northeast Kansas and southeast Nebraska. By 4 to 5 p.m., several discrete supercells are active. Significant hail threat begins across the region. The peak tornado window is 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time supercells are at maximum intensity then. Any supercell running out in front of the cluster during that window carries the EF3-plus tornado risk. Hold on before storms cluster. There is one discrete supercell detail in southwestern Iowa that matters. The HR model keeps a discrete supercell in southwestern Iowa even after the main line clusters. If that southwestern Iowa supercell stays discrete, a strong tornado is still possible after 6 p.m. By 7 p.m., a big line forms from Kansas through Nebraska into Iowa. Widespread wind threat emerges. By 8 to 9 p.m., a massive line sweeps southern Minnesota, Iowa, and Missouri with damaging winds. You cannot rule out a quick spin-up in that line overnight. QLCS tornadoes are sneaky, no joke. These storms will be nocturnal. The severe weather continues well through overnight into early Tuesday. Now, the hail threat, softball-sized hail, will destroy any vehicle that is not under cover today. The SIG2 hail zone covers 40,766 square miles Omaha, Wichita, Lincoln, Topeka, and St. Joseph, Missouri. 4-inch-plus hail softball size is possible in that SIG2 zone today, I kid you not. The 45% hail probability sits directly over Wichita, Topeka, Salina, Manhattan, and Hutchinson. Baseball-sized hail extends from north-central Texas all the way into central Iowa today. Enormous zone. If you live near Omaha or Wichita, get every vehicle under cover before noon. Flat out non-negotiable. The wind threat today is also extraordinary. 45% damaging wind probability over 21,324 square miles. The 45% zone covers Wichita, Topeka, Salina, Manhattan, and Hutchinson, Kansas. Good grief. The 30% wind probability includes Omaha, Lincoln, Lawrence, St. Joseph, and Council Bluffs. Hurricane-force winds in the black-hatched area, gusts of 80 miles per hour or greater, are possible today. Think about Margaret outside Kansas City in the 15% wind zone. Storms arrive 7 p.m. Margaret has her shelter confirmed. Vehicle inside, outdoor furniture secured before noon. Bless. I need to stop right here. There is a flooding dimension today most people are missing. SPC has issued a moderate risk of flash flooding today covering Kansas and surrounding areas. Multiple rounds of storms repeat over the same areas, 1 to 2 inches of rainfall possible. Turnaround don't drown applies to every road in the risk zone tonight and into Tuesday morning, period. The slight risk of flooding extends from southern Minnesota all the way through Indiana. Heads up. Heavy rainfall over an inch expected from Kansas and Missouri all the way into Illinois and western Tennessee. Put your city and state in the comments. I will be back tonight with your breakdown. Now, the city breakdown so you know exactly where you stand heading into this afternoon. Wichita, Kansas, SIG2 tornado bullseye. 15% tornado probability. Softball hail possible. Shelter now. Topeka and Lawrence, Kansas, inside moderate risk. CIG2 tornado threat. Storms arrive 3 to 5 p.m. today. Salina, Manhattan, and Hutchinson, Kansas, 45% wind and hail probability. Most dangerous spots today. Kansas City, Missouri, enhanced risk today. 10% tornado. Storms arrive around 6 to 7 p.m. tonight. Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska, inside enhanced risk. CIG2 wind and hail. Storms firing 4 to 6 p.m. Des Moines, Iowa, 10% tornado probability today. Storms arrive later evening around 8 to 9 p.m. St. Louis, Missouri, severe weather tonight as the line sweeps east with damaging winds and embedded storms. Springfield, Missouri, hotspot for severe weather tonight and again Tuesday, 2 active days ahead. Chicago, Milwaukee, Indianapolis, 2% tornado. Active wind threat tonight as the line pushes through. Oklahoma City inside the 5% tornado zone today. 30% storm chance this afternoon along dry line. Northern Oklahoma has the greatest severe potential late today. Any dryline storm could become immediately severe. Oklahoma tonight into Tuesday, confidence rises to 80% storm probability as cold front pushes through. Frank near Enid, 2 separate danger windows today. Dryline this afternoon and cold front tonight, no joke. Frank needs his livestock plan confirmed before 2 p.m. today. 2 separate danger windows back to back. Detroit, Michigan tornado warning cells pushing through Ohio Valley into Great Lakes this afternoon. Heads up. Indiana and Ohio tornado warned cells are pushing through right now. Damaging winds are the primary threats. Now here's what you need to understand about the negative tilt on today's upper level trough. Y'all. The negative tilt trough amplifies available energy locked and loaded for 6,300 joules of CAPE. The second group of storms fires 3 to 7 p.m. as negative tilt energy maximizes over central Kansas. That window 3 to 7 p.m. in Kansas is when the environment hits its absolute peak. Strong winds aloft from 2 p.m. through 9 p.m. maximize the lifting and intensify every storm today. After 7 p.m. storms cluster, wind threat becomes primary. Tornado threat shifts to spin-ups, folks. Through overnight, severe wind threat continues in Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma until early Tuesday. Now let me zoom out because today has 3 simultaneous weather extremes across the same country. Summer heat, winter snow, and severe thunderstorms are all happening at once today. Good Lord. 3 seasons in one day record heat in the south, mountain snow, and tornadoes in Kansas. Let me start with the fire weather side because the extreme risk today is life-threatening, flat out. An extreme risk fire weather category is in effect for the southern high plains today and Monday. The dry line is creating tinderbox conditions from the Texas Panhandle through Oklahoma and southern Kansas. Gusty winds, extremely low humidity, and temperatures near 100 degrees, the 3 most dangerous fire factors. Any wildfire that develops in those conditions could spread rapidly and become extremely difficult to contain. This extreme fire weather risk continues into Monday, same day Kansas faces the tornado moderate risk. Enhanced risk for severe weather covers the upper Midwest and Central Plains today. Forecaster Lyons. Today's enhanced risk orange zone stretches from the Central Plains all the way into the mid-Missouri Valley. Warm, moisture-rich air surging northward from the Gulf is creating highly unstable atmospheric conditions today. The slow-moving cold front and dry line are the triggers fueling this multi-day severe weather outbreak. Today's highest risk sits north of I-70 across the Central Plains late afternoon into overnight timing. Hazards today include baseball-size hail, 70 to 80 miles per hour wind gusts, and a tornado or two possible. Now, the heat emergency, 160 million Americans are facing dangerous heat risk levels today and Monday. Monday's temperature forecast shows the eastern half at 10 to 25 degrees above normal. Y'all? Highs reach the 90s as far north as Nebraska and Iowa, same zone as Monday's tornado risk. Dallas at 96, Shreveport at 90, Memphis and Atlanta at 87 degrees Monday afternoon. Good grief. Southern Texas faces extreme heat risk level 4. The National Weather Service says this level can be deadly. Health systems are highly likely to see increased ER demand with this level of heat on Monday. Heat plus high dew points in South Texas Monday creates a heat index exceeding 100 degrees easily. Washington, D.C. at 90, Raleigh at 90, Charlotte at 87 heat dome covers the entire eastern U.S. That heat and humidity combination makes South Texas feel like more than 100 degrees Monday afternoon. In stark contrast, a foot of snow is possible in Wyoming and Colorado at higher elevations Monday. The Colorado Front Range and Wasatch Range face heavy late-season mountain snow as cold air spreads east. Softball hail in Kansas, snow in Wyoming, deadly heat in Texas, all on the same day Monday. The Intermountain West deals with extreme fire danger and mountain snow simultaneously. I kid you not. This pattern represents one of the most extreme multi-hazard events of the 2026 spring season so far. The upper-level trough over the west is the engine producing all four extremes at the same time. Same trough tornadoes in the plains, record heat east, fire in the south, snow in Rockies. Here's the thing, nobody is connecting the warm sector feeding heat risk is fueling today's CAPE. That Gulf moisture pumping record heat into the east is simultaneously loading the plains with 6,300 joules. The heat wave and the tornado outbreak are not separate stories, they are the same atmospheric event. 4 simultaneous national weather crises from one large-scale pattern this week is not normal, plain and simple. Monday is the peak of this outbreak. All available models agree this is a high-confidence day. Drop your location in the comments. I come back tonight with your specific area updates. The entire setup will be ripe for organized supercells from Kansas into Nebraska Monday afternoon and evening. These supercells could bring giant hail, heavy rain, and long-track tornadoes staying on the ground for miles. Outside the highest risk area, tornadoes are possible from Texas all the way to the Great Lakes Monday. Over 4 million people have a 10% tornado probability on Monday across central parts of the country. 1 in 10 tornado probability within 25 miles if you're in that zone. Plan now, period. The peak tornado time is through the evening hours when the low-level jet fires after sunset Monday. Frank in northern Oklahoma needs fire awareness today and storm awareness tonight, 2 windows, flat out. Now, the Tuesday outlook in Tuesday is not going away quietly after today's outbreak. Heads up. Tuesday has a slight risk covering 402,203 square miles with 47.8 million people from Texas to Great Lakes. Dallas, Detroit, Indianapolis, Austin, and Memphis all inside Tuesday's slight risk zone. Southern Missouri is the Tuesday hotspot, multiple lines of storms building over and over through evening. Texas and Arkansas will get another round. Tuesday supercells are possible with a quick spin up for tornado. The interior Northeast also faces a low tornado risk. Tuesday, Michigan through Maine, 2% probability. That is unusual for mid-May tornado risk. This far north is not something you see very often. Tuesday wind threat is serious gusts of 40 to 65 miles per hour from Texas toward northern New England. Fort Worth, Arlington, Abilene, Wichita Falls, baseball-sized hail possible Tuesday from this western Texas setup. Wednesday is day 3 marginal risk, covering 55.4 million people in the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Boston, and Washington, D.C. all inside Wednesday's marginal risk zone. The upper-level storm system stays parked over the western U.S. through much of the week unsettled pattern. Additional disturbances move through nearly every day this week, daily rain and storm chances through Friday. Heavy rainfall is building through this pattern, drought relief possible, especially for Texas and Louisiana. Over an inch of rainfall expected across Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and western Tennessee today. Now, the atmospheric science section, the one connection nobody's explaining about this week. The negative tilt trough means the energy axis is tilted backward, amplifying convective potential to maximum. Gulf moisture is simultaneously pumping northward dew points in the low 60s across a massive warm sector. That combination of Gulf moisture plus negative tilt trough is what produces 6,300 joules of CAPE today. Surface low deepening rapidly in western Kansas right now. That is today's tornado engine, locked and loaded. As storms cluster tonight, that energy shifts east into Missouri, explaining tomorrow's southern Missouri hotspot. Storm mode is still the big question if you live in Kansas today. Stay on radar. Y'all, here's what every person in the risk zone needs to do before 3 p.m. starting now. Kansas, Nebraska today, moderate risk. SIG 2 tornadoes, softball hail, shelter confirmed before noon. Severe weather window is 3 to 9 p.m. today. Be indoors with alerts active the entire time. Every vehicle near Wichita, Salina, Omaha, and Lincoln needs to be under cover before noon today. Period. Oklahoma today, 30% storm chance along dry line this afternoon, 80% tonight with cold fronts. Any dry line storm in northern Oklahoma this afternoon could become immediately severe with large hail and wind. Oklahoma and North Texas tonight, large hail, damaging winds, heavy rainfall, isolated severe into Tuesday. Weather alert device must be on loud tonight. Nocturnal wind threat continues past midnight into Tuesday. Mobile home residents in Wichita, Topeka, Salina, and Manhattan offsite community shelter before noon today. Charge your phone and backup battery now. Today's storms will knock out power across multiple states. Turn around, don't drown tonight. Flooded roads after midnight in Kansas, Missouri, and Iowa are dangerous. Carol in Wichita shelter confirmed before noon. SIG 2 Bullseye is where she lives. Good Lord. Dale outside Salina, 45% hail and wine probability. Equipment under cover. Shelter locked in now. Frank in northern Oklahoma, dry line this afternoon. Cold front tonight. 2 separate windows back to back. Margaret near Kansas City, enhanced risk today. Storms arrive 6 to 7 p.m. Shelter confirmed before lunch. People who make it through outbreaks like this always had their plan confirmed before the sirens. Bless. Do me a solid, someone in Wichita, Omaha, Kansas City, or Topeka needs to see this today. A heads up from someone they trust beats 10 push notifications they swipe past, mark my words. Share your city and state in the comments. I will be back tonight with your breakdown. Moderate risk today, 1.2 million in the red zone, 6,300 joules a cape. Softball-sized hail in the forecast. 25 tornado reports yesterday, same corridor today with higher instability. This week is not over. Dale sheltering near Salina today, Carol confirmed in Wichita. Frank watching Oklahoma's 2-window setup. Margaret securing Kansas City before 7 p.m. 4 people, 4 dangers, 1 violent storm system. Stay safe, stay smart, take care of the people around you. See you in the next update.